Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got the final game in May for the Yankees in the American League. And on May 31st, the Baltimore Orioles travel up to New York to take on the Yankees. And the starting lineups for the Baltimore Orioles playing center field and leading off is Harlow. Batting second, playing second, Smith. Batting third, playing first base is Murray. Batting fourth, playing right field is Singleton. Batting fifth, playing left field is Kelly. Batting sixth and doing the DH is May. Batting seventh and playing third base is the Sensei. Batting eighth and doing the catching is Dempsey. And batting ninth, playing shortstop is Mark Belanger. And on the mound doing the pitching is Mike Flanagan for the Baltimore Orioles. Now on to the hometown New York Yankees. Leading off and playing center field is Mickey Rivers. And batting second and playing second is Willie Randolph. Batting third and doing the catching is Thurman Munson. Batting fourth, playing left field is Pinella. Batting fifth, playing first base is Chambliss. Batting sixth, playing third base is Nettles. Batting seventh and DHing is Johnson. Batting eighth, playing right field is Blair. Batting ninth, playing shortstop is Denton. On the mound is Ed Figueroa. As Ken Castro joins us here today. Let's get down to the Yankee Stadium and get this game started, folks. And you can see the Yankees got one more game here in Baltimore on June 1st. Then they travel out to Oakland to take on the A's and then on to Seattle. Leading off here for the Orioles, Larry Hardlow, batting 244. He's got 2 homers and 6 RBIs. And here's the pitch to Hardlow. Calling on the mound for the Yankees, making his 10th start is Ed Figueroa. He is 7-1 with a 2.72 ERA. And that's going to be well hit by Harlow. Let's see where this ball ends up at. Not the way you want to start this for Figueroa. And that's going to be driven into left center field out there in Death Valley. Lou's chasing after it. Harlow puts on the Jets, and that brown-eyed, handsome man's going to be in there with a leadoff triple face. So you got a runner down at third already, and before the fans even get to their seats. And now you got Billy Smith up batting 358 with 4 homers and 7 RBIs. The Yankees early in the game is going to play the defense back. They'll give up the run for an out. And it's going to be a 19 and an 8. Yep. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field and back-to-back hits, and the Orioles are up 1-0 just like that. And Eddie Murray comes to the plate now. And Murray is batting 270 with 6 homers and 19 RBIs. 1-1, no out, and 1-0. And that's going to be the first out of the ball game. That's a lazy fly ball out to Rivers for out number 1. Brings up the switch hitting Ken Singleton. Singleton's batting 242 on the year, 6 homers and 17 RBIs. And that's going to be a, let's see here, Rivers, 18, 20, 4, 29. That'll be fielding cone 1. That's going to be a fly ball out the left field. Lou makes the catch. Now there's 2 down, and up to the plate comes Pat Kelly. And Kelly is batting 172 on the year, 2 homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a pop up out in shallow left field, shallow center field, rather. Yep. Pop up in shallow center field. Mickey comes on, makes the catch. And out of win the inning, but the Orioles score one. And the Yankees coming to bat with Rivers, Randolph, and Munson. Mickey's batting 242 on the year. He's got 2 homers and 18 RBIs going up against Mike Flanagan. And this is Mike's 12th start. He's 4-7 with a 6.85 ERA. See what the Yankees can do here in the bottom of the first. Get that run right back. And that's going to be against the lefty. 14-9. And that's going to be a leadoff single by Mick. So Mick gets aboard here with the infield hit. So the Yankees got the leadoff runner down at first. And Willie Randolph up. And Randolph's batting 275. He's got a homer and 17 RBI. And that's going to be a base on balls. And Flanagan all of a sudden is having a rocky first inning here. First and second, and nobody out for the captain, Thurman Munson. And Munson's batting 290 on the year with 3 homers and 25 RBIs. Runner down scoring position. Time run at first. Go ahead and run down at time run down at second. Go ahead and run down at first. And here's the pitch to the captain. And that's going to be against the lefty at 5. And that's going to be a base hit in the left field. And with Rivers' speed, he'll score easy. The question is, will Mick get down the third? That is the question. And that's what, a 30? He'll probably stay put with nobody out. But Kelly doesn't have much of an arm, that's for darn sure. But again, with nobody out, Randolph's going to stop at second. That's an RBI single for Munson. And that's a tie ball game. Still nobody out. And now Lou Pinella's up with first and second. And Pinella's batting 341 on the year. He's got 2 homers and 19 RBIs. So much for the pitching duel I thought we was going to get in this game. That's going to be a ground ball. Back to the mound. Excuse me, a 35 and a 1 is probably fielding column 1. I mean 3. What am I talking about? Yep, fielding column 3. And that's going to be, he's going to spin around, throw down to Belanger at second. The runner will get down to third. So now we got first and third and 1 out. And up to the plate's Chris Chambliss. Can he drive in another run here and give the Yankees the lead here in the bottom of the first? He's batting 266. He's got 2 homers and 26 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. And that'll be fielding column 1. And that should be deep enough to score Randolph easily. So a sacrifice fly for Chambliss. And it's a 2-1 ball game. The Yankees take the lead here in the bottom of the first. 2 outs now. A runner down at first for Greg Nettles. And Nettles is batting 298 on the year with 11 homers and 33 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Smith. He fires over to Murray. Now to end the inning, but the Yankees score 2 and take a 2-1 lead into the top of the second. And we got May, DeSensei, and Dempsey due up here. And May's batting 264 on the year. He's got 10 homers and 23 RBIs lead up. And that's going to be against the righty. 20. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Rivers for out number 1. And it brings up Doug DeSensei now. Batting 236 with 3 homers and 15 RBIs. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. So DeSensei's aboard here with a 1-out hit. As Blair gets to it, throws it in, holding to a single. That brings up Rick Dempsey. Can the Yankees get a ground ball in turn 2 here with Dempsey's speed? DeSensei's not a speed demon either. And Dempsey's batting 280 on the year. He's got a homer and 12 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Lewin left for out number 2. And that brings up Mark Belanger. And Belanger's batting $184. No homers and 8 RBI. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Rivers. And Orioles strand Dent Sensei at first. We get to the bottom of the second. We got the bottom part of the order due up here for the Yanks. Johnson, Blair, and Dent. And Cliff is batting $171 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. And that ball's well hit by Heathcliff. Let's see where this ball ends up at Yankee Stadium. And that ball is high. That ball is far. Kiss it goodbye. That ball is out of here, folks. Home run number 3 for Cliff Johnson. That's a 3-0 lead here. I thought this was going to be a pitching duel. Paul Blair's up now. He's batting $194. He's got no homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down to the Sensei. He fires across the diamond for out number 1. And here comes Bucky Dent up now. And Bucky's batting .280 with a homer and 17 RBIs. That's going to be a base on balls. Bucky will take it. He walks on down to first. Excuse me, we're back to the top of the order and Mickey Rivers. And Mick, he singled in the first and came around to score. Here's the pitch to Mick. And that's going to be a fly ball out to his counterpart Harlow in center for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down now, and a runner at first. And Dent and Willie walked and came around to score in the top and the bottom of the first. And that's going to be another base on balls for Willie. And Flanagan's walking himself into a mess here. Sturman delivered an RBI single his first time up. Can he do it again here, folks? He's 1 for 1. And that is going to be, I believe, another base hit against the lefty here. Yep. That's going to be a single in the left field with 2 outs. I think Dent will score easy. Let's see. I think Willie may make it down to third here with 2 outs. Let's see. 38. Yeah, Willie's going to make it down to third with 2 outs. So now we got runners on the corner. And still 2 outs here. And up to the plate now comes Lou Piniella. And now it's a 4-0 ball game. And Thurman Munson's having a hell of a game here. Lou's 0 for 1, grounded into a fielder's choice as J.D. Dutch joins us here. And that's going to be a pop-up on the infield. And the Sensei calls for it. Makes the catch. And that'll end the inning. But the Yankees add 2 more and take a 4-1 lead. We go to the top of the third with the top of the order due up here for the Orioles. As you can see, the team replay comparisons. Baltimore's 18-29, batting .244 with a .313 on base percentage, slugging .384 and an OPS of .696. Yankees are 33-12. They're batting .279 with an on base percentage of .337, a slugging of .409, and an OPS of .746. Harlow tripled and came around to score his first time up. And here's the pitch to Harlow. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Larry's aboard for the second time here today. And that brings up Smith. And Smith had that RBI single back in the first. And that's going to be a well-hit ball. And Ed's having problems with the top of this order. And that's going to be a double in the right field. Let's see here. If Harlow can score, Blair's got a gun out there. So it'll be a 42. Nobody out. And with nobody out, he's going to stay put at third. Not going to chance it. So now you got second and third and nobody out. 4-1 ball game. And Eddie Murray steps to the plate. And with the 3-run lead, the Yankees will play back for the out here. And Murray, he flew out to center field his first time up. And that's going to be against the righty, a 15. And that is going to be a pop up down the short. And Bucky makes the catch out in shallow left field for out number 1. And now Ken Singleton's up. Singleton flew out to left his first time up. And that's going to be another pop up. This one's going to be popped up in fair territory near first base bag. Chambliss makes the catch. 2 big outs here. 2 pop-ups, 2 outs, and it's still second and third. And Figueroa, get out of this mess with nobody scoring, folks. Pat Kelly's 0 for 1. He flew out the Rivers his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And that's going to end the inning, folks, as Willie goes over to first. And second and third and nobody out, and the Orioles come up empty. Remember that. That's big. And you see the Orioles' upcoming schedule. They got one more game here in New York. And they travel out to Seattle to take on the Mariners in a 3-game series. And after that, they're heading down the coast to Anaheim to take on the Angels. Chris Chambliss had a sacrifice fly his first time up. He'll be followed by Nettles and Johnson. And here's the pitch to Chambliss, and that's a ground ball down to Billy Smith at second for out number 1. And Greg Nettles comes to the plate now. He grounded out to second his first time up. And that's going to be against the lefty. 17. And that is going to be a infield hit. Greg Nettles gets aboard here with 1 out. Nice job by Greg as he beats the throw down to first. And now you got Johnson up, who homered his first time up. Here's the pitch to Heathcliff. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. 53 and a 7 is probably fielding count 3. And it sure is. And that's going to be an error. Runner's going to get down the third, folks. So that's an E4. Now you got first and third. And 1 out. And let's see here. You got Blair with good speed down there at the plate. So I think they're going to have to bring the infield in. I don't think you're going to double up Paul Blair. He grounded out to third his first time up. Let's see if Blair can drive in a run, make this a 5-1 ball game. And that's going to be a base on balls. Sets up Dent now. The base is loaded. Can Bucky come through here? And Dent is walked and came around the score back in the second. And let's see, with Bucky, they're going to play back for the double play now. They're going to play back for the double play. And that's a ground ball down the second. Can they turn 2 is the question. 34 and a 7. And that'll be fielding column 2. And that's going to be, they'll get the runner out at second. And that'll be it. That's a 4-6 put out. That's an RBI for Bucky Dent. And it is now 5-1 as they wasn't able to get Bucky at first on the relay throw. So now you got first and third. And Mickey Rivers, he's 1 for 2 today. Single back in the first and scored and flew out. And that ball is driven into the gap. Let's see if that's going to drop in for a base hit. And nice play out there by Pat Kelly. Robs Rivers of a hit. And that'll end the inning, but the Yankees do score 1. And it is a 5-1 ball game. And you got May The Sensei and Dempsey do up here against Figueroa. And May, he flew out to Mickey his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the dent. He fires across the diamond to Chambliss for out number 1. And that brings up Doug DeSensei. And Doug, he singled his first time up. And he's going to blast this ball down the first base line. It hits the chalk, and that's going to be a 1-out double here for DeSensei. Now Rick Dempsey up with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. And DeSensei down in second. Dempsey at the plate. He flew out the left his first time up. And that's going to be another fly ball out the left. And that'll be another out. Piniella waits for it and makes the catch. 2 down now, and it's up to Mark Belanger to do something here with 2 outs. And Belanger flew out the center field his first time up. And that's going to be a pop-up down the second. Willie makes the catch. And the Orioles strand another runner. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still a 5-1 ball game. We got Randolph, Munson, and Piniella due up here. Willie has walked twice and came around to score back in the 1st. And that's going to be the first time they get him out. That's a lazy fly ball out to Singleton. And that's out number 1. Here comes the captain. He's a perfect 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs back in the 1st and 2nd. And that's going to be a ground ball down to the Sensei. He's got it. Fires over to Murray for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down here in the 4th. And that brings up Lou Piniella. He is rounded into a fielder's choice and popped up. And that ball is well hit. Not going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Flanagan. And that ball is hit into the gap in right field off the wall. And a 2-out double by Lou. Brings up Chris Chambliss now. And let's see if Chris can add another run here. The Yankees have scored in all 3 innings. Chambliss has a sacrifice fly, and he grounded out the second. Here's the pitch to Chambliss. And that's going to be a 10. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Belanger. He's got it. Fires over the 1st. The Yankees strand 1 to the top of the 5th we go. Top of the order due up here for the Orioles. Harlow, Smith, and Murray. And Harlow's 1 for 1. He is singled and tripled. Came around to score in the 1st. Only run of the ball game for the Orioles. That's going to be a swing and a miss, and I think that's Figueroa. His first strikeout of the game. And up to the plate now is Billy Smith. He is doubled twice and drove in a run in the 1st. And that'll be the first time they get him out. That's a comebacker to Ed. Over to Chambliss for out number 2. And here is Eddie Murray now. And Murray's 0 for 2, flown out and popped up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. And nice play down there by Willie. He comes up with it, fires over to 1st, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th now. We got Nettles, Johnson, and Blair. Nettles is 1 for 2, singled in the 3rd and scored. And that's going to be a ground ball down to his counterpart, the Sensei, for out number 1. And Cliff Johnson's up now. Johnson with that solo homer back in the 2nd. Reached on an error. Here's the pitch to Johnson. And that's going to be against the lefty. 6 and a 9. And that's going to be an infield hit. Cliff Johnson with an infield hit up the middle. And now you got 1 out and a runner down at 1st for Paul Blair. And Blair is 0 for 1, grounded out and walked. And that's going to be a comebacker back to the mound. Let's see here. They'll get the runner No, they won't get the runner out. They'll get the batter out at first. Only play for Flanagan. So now you got Johnson down at second. And Bucky Dent up now with 2 outs. Dent's 0 for 1. He's walked and had an RBI ground ball. So here's the pitch to Dent. And that's going to be against the lefty. 8. 1 and 8. Yeah, 8, 1 and 8. That's going to be a single in the left field. And with Johnson's speed, he's going to have to stop at third now. No way Cliff's scoring on that. So now you got first and third and Mickey Rivers up. See if Mick can deliver here. He's 1 for 3. Single back in the first and came around to score. And that's going to be a 40. That's going to be, let's see here, the infield. Well, it don't matter with the 65. That's going to be a pass ball. Nope, he's a PB too, so that is a pass ball. Pass ball. Puts runners now at second, and another run comes in, folks. It's now 6-1 ball game. So runner down at second. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Rivers. And that'll be a ground ball down to the sensei. So the Yankees tack on another and lead this game 6-1. Let's see what the bullpen looks like. They're going to have to get somebody up here. They don't got much of a bullpen. Not much of a bullpen. Not many arms out there at all. Hate to use them all up here. So Flanagan might have to keep pitching into the 7th inning at least. You got Singleton due up here, followed by Kelly and May. And Singleton's 0 for 2 today, flown out and popped up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the Nettles for out number 1. That brings up Pat Kelly now. Kelly's 0 for 2, grounded out and flown out. And that's going to be against the righty of 15. That's going to be a ground ball down to Bucky Dent. Over to Chambliss for out number 2. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. Brings up Lee May now. He has flown out and grounded out. And that's going to be 20. That's going to be a fly ball out to center field. Rivers makes the catch. That'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 goes the O's. To the bottom of the 6th we go. And like I say, I hate to use that bullpen. They only got 3 arms out there. Not much of a bullpen at all. So we're gonna let old Flanagan pitch here in the 6th. You got Randolph, Munson, and Piniella due up. Willie's 0 for 1. He's walked twice and came around to score. And that's going to be against the lefty. That's going to be a base hit in the left field. So Willie's aboard here with a leadoff single. Thurman Munson comes to the plate with already having 2 RBIs in this game. He is 2 for 3. Here's the pitch to the captain. And that's going to be a tailor-made double play. Down this Belanger. Over to Smith, over to Murray. 6-4-3 double play. Gets rid of Willie on the bases. Now there's 2 outs and nobody on for Piniella. And lose 1 for 3 with a double. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Singleton. That'll end the inning. Go to the top of the 7th in a 6-1 ball game, folks. You got the sensei, Dempsey and Belanger due up here, the bottom part of the order. Doug's a perfect 2 for 2. He singled and doubled in this game. And that's going to be a fly ball. They finally get him out. Player makes the catch out there in right field. And up to the plate now is Rich Dempsey. And Dempsey is 0 for 2. He's flown out the Lou both times. And that's going to be a base on ball. So Ed walks Dempsey down the first. And that'll set up Mark Belanger with 1 out and 1 on. Belanger has flown out and popped up. And that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes. And Ed's having a little problem with the strike zone all of a sudden. That's a ground ball down to Willie at second. And that's going to be and they can't get the double play. He goes down the second to Dent over to first, and Belanger beats the throw. So now there's 2 outs, and Belanger down at first. And Larry Harwell is up. He's 1 for 2. He has tripled, walked, and struck out. And that's back-to-back strikeouts against him. Ed's finally figured him out after the first 2 at bats. That ends the inning. We go to the 7th inning stretch, 6-1 New York. He might have Dutch. Yeah, he might have. Hell of a third baseman. The sensei, I think, was overlooked. I think he was one hell of a third baseman, glove-wise and with the bat. Going out to California, out there on the West Coast, probably didn't help him as far as being noticed. But like I say, I always thought the sensei was a damn good third baseman. You got Chambliss, Nettles, and Johnson due up here. And with these 2 lefties due up, they're going to let Flanagan pitch to these 2 lefties at least. See what happens here. Chambliss 0 for 2. Had a sacrifice fly in the first. And that's going to be a rare play. A 37 and a 65 on a 37. That's going to be a foul ball, strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be another rare play, a 55 now with the 37. And that's going to be hit into center field. We'll have to re-roll some dice. And that's going to be a nice play out there in center field by Harlow. Takes a base hit away from Chambliss. And now there's 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Greg Nettles steps up to the plate. He's 1 for 3, scored back in the 3rd. And that's going to be against the lefty. 11 on 8. That is going to be a base hit in the left field. Greg Nettles comes through, goes the other way. And that's a 1-out hit. How big was that play by Harlow now? And here's the decision now. Do we take Flanagan out of the game with the righties coming up here? Bring in Flynn. I think we will. So Flanagan is going to pitch 7 1/3 innings here, 6 1/3. Flynn's going to come in the game and pitch to the righties. This is John Flynn's 5th appearance. No record with a whopping 12.46 ERA. And Johnson's 2 for 3 with a homer and a single. Came around to score twice in this game. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Kelly in left for out number 2. And Paul Blair comes to the plate now. And Blair's 0 for 2. He did walk back in the 3rd. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Doug. He's going to go to short, way over to second. And that ends the inning. The Yankees strand 1. To the top of the 8th we go. We got Smith, Murray, and Singleton. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up here in the top of the 8th. And the Orioles are got to get busy, down by 5. Billy is 2 for 3. He has an RBI single and doubled in the third. And that's going to be it's the righty, a 19 on a 8. That's going to be a fly ball out to Blair. He runs it down for out number, wrong spot. Blair's playing right field. I think Reggie was injured, Dutch. He hasn't played in the last 3 or 4 ball games. So, yeah, I don't think he was on the IR. He's still on the roster, but, yeah, he must have had one of those Billy Martin injuries where Billy's probably saying he's fucking faking it and just don't want to play. Would be my guess. How things went in 78. Or he might have just pissed Billy off and Billy benched him back in. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. Here, we'll look here. Let's look at the bench here. See when the last time Reggie played. Like I say, it's been a while. Of course, this one's going to want to act up. Back on the 27th. So, yeah. He hasn't played in 4 days. Yeah, exactly. In Billy's doghouse. One way or the other, I guarantee he was in Billy's doghouse. Because truthfully, back in 78 and May, they was playing some pretty piss poor ball. Yeah, they didn't have no 33-12 record back in 78 at this time of the year. And now you got Murray up with 2 outs. He has flown out, grounded out, and popped up. And that's going to be a base hit. Maybe. Let's check here. Old Figueroa might stop this. It's 15. Yep, nice play. That's going to be popped up Figueroa. Just got him out of the sweet spot, and that ball was popped up down the short. Murray shaking his head, thought he had a good pitch to hit and missed it. Now there's 2 outs, and Ken Singleton comes to the plate. 0 for 3, flown out, popped up, and grounded out. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Figueroa strikes out Singleton. Only his 3rd strikeout of the game. You go to the bottom of the 8th. We got Dent. Then the lineup will turn over with Rivers and Randolph. And Bucky is 1 for 2. He's walked, driven in a run, and came around the score. Here's the pitch to Bucky. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Flynn strikes him out to start this 8th inning off. Back to the top of the order now. Mickey's 1 for 4. Single back in the 1st and scored. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. And Singleton gets it on the hop, fires it in, holds Rivers to a single. That brings up Willie. And Willie is 1 for 2. He's walked twice, came around the score back in the 1st. And that's going to be against the righty. 7 on a 7. Rip a 7 on 11. And that's a nice play by Flynn. Nice job. He picks that one. Let's see where that one's going to go. And he's going to go down, going to throw over to 1st after making a nice play there. So the runner will get down to 2nd with 2 outs, but Flynn saved a base hit. Ball was driven up the middle, puts the glove out, throws down the 1st. 2 down now for Munson, who's 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And he might just pick up his 3rd here, folks. 7. That's going to be a single in the right field. And with mixed speed, he should score easy. We'll check this out here. So that'll be a 56. Like I said, Kelly doesn't have an arm out there. Yep. Rivers will score easily. That's another RBI for Munson. And it is now a 7-1 ball game. Thurman Munson's having a hell of a game here, folks. That brings up Piniella now with a runner down at first. And 2 outs. Lose 1 for 2 with a double back in the fourth. And he gets a hold of this one, folks. The wheels are coming off the cart for Flynn. That's going to be a double in the right field. Let's see what happens here with Munson. That'll be a 52. Singleton does have a decent arm out there. Better than decent. Damn good on him. So there's 2 outs. Chambliss is up. 28. You're up by 7. I see we're going to send him. We're going to send him. 54 lower. He's in there. He's in there. So that's an RBI double by Lou. Excuse me. And it is now an 8-1 ball game. Chambliss up with a runner down at second. And 2 outs. Flynn trying to get him through this last inning. Don't want to burn a bunch of pitchers up in this game when you're down 8-1. See if Flynn can get him out of this. Chambliss 0 for 3. Does have a sacrifice fly. And that's going to be a ground ball down to the Sensei. That'll end the inning, but the Yankees score 2. Make it 8-1 as we go to the top of the 8th. Ed's trying to get a complete game here. He's got Kelly, May, and the Sensei due up here in the top of the 9th. And Kelly is 0 for 3. Flown out and grounded out twice. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And Figueroa strikes out the first batter he sees here in the 9th. Only his 4th strikeout of the game. That brings up Lee May. He has flown out to center twice and grounded out. And that's going to be against the righty. 20, and that's going to be a fly ball again out to Rivers for out number 2. Orioles down to their last out, and Doug the Sensei. He is 2 for 3. One of the few Orioles hitting well here against Figueroa. He has singled and doubled, flew out his last time up though, and that's going to be a ground ball down the dent. He takes his time, fires over the Chambliss, and that's your ball game, folks. The Yankees win 8-1. Not the pitching matchup I thought. Figueroa settled down after that first inning. Let's take a look here at the box score now. And then after looking at the box score, we'll look at the standings and the leaderboard through May. So the Yankees win on 8 runs, 13 hits, and no errors. The Orioles 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error. Billy Smith and the Sensei both had 2 hits. The Orioles were only it was 1 for 3, which wasn't bad. Just didn't have many opportunities. Left 6 men on base. Look at that. Rivers 2 for 5. Munson, a nice game. 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Cliff Johnson 2 for 4 with that solo homer. Yankees were 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Still left 9 men on base. Flanagan just didn't have it today. He drops to 4 and 8, 6 1/3, 10 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Walked 4 and gave up the homer to Johnson. Flynn comes in, doesn't put the fire out. He adds to it. 1 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, struck out 1. Ed Figueroa goes the distance, picks up his 8th win. He's 8-1, 5 hits, 1 run, walked 2, struck out 4. Let's finish up May here. And the first game we got's the Blue Jays traveling to Boston to take on the Red Sox. Clancy against Lee. It should be a hell of a pitching matchup. Watch it be a blowout, too. Yeah, exactly. 34-12. Yep. I don't expect them to win all those games in September and August, but if they do, they're going to have one hell of a record here. And the Red Sox win a close one, 9 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. The Blue Jays, 7 runs, 12 hits, and an error. Now we got the Angels playing the White Sox in Chicago. And a shutout by the White Sox. I'm sure that's what the Star's about. Yep, Steve Stone's second shutout of the year. The White Sox, 6 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. The Angels, no runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. And then you got the Brew Crew traveling to Detroit to take on the Tigers. And what a wild game that was. Watch this be a walk-off. Kemp, 6 hits. Tigers had 4 errors and a walk-off win. We'll take a look here at the box score of this crazy game. And won 11 innings. Tigers 11 runs, 18 hits, and the 4 errors we talked about. The Brewers 10 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors. Man, Paul Molitor was 4 for 5. I don't know if he got hurt or why they took him out in the 9th. Don't understand that. Who else? Gorman Thomas was 2 for 4. Molitor, Money, Bando, and Thomas with homers. Damn. Slugfest. The Harvey Wallbangers getting ready in 78 instead of in the 80s. Damn. 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Still left 7 men on base. Alan Trammell was, look at that. Steve Kemp, 6 for 6 with 3 RBIs. 7 for 5 with runners in scoring position. LaFleur and Sweet Lou Whitaker with a homer. That was Whitaker's first home run of the year. They left 13 men on base. Look at that pitching. Travis. Stein gets the loss. Wilcox started there, and he used 3 pitchers. See how the winning run scored here in the bottom of the 10th. Bottom of the 11th, rather. Take a look here. Inning started off with a single, a walk, another single, and then a strikeout, and finally a sacrifice fly wins the ball game. That was a wild one. Wild game there in Detroit City. And the last game here on May 31st, we got the Mariners against the Orioles in Kansas City. And we got Apba on the mound. Apba. See how he does here against Kansas City in the Sunshine Man. Man, Kansas City wins a close one, a pitching duel. 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. The Mariners 1 run, 7 hits, out-hit the Kansas City, but couldn't outscore them. Let's take a look now at the standings and leaderboard here, folks. And after May, the Yankees are 7 games up on the Tigers and Red Sox. The Brewers are 9.5 games back. Blue Jays 12. Orioles are now 17 games back. And the Indians are 17.5 games back. And out west, we got the White Sox 2 games back. A's 4. Kansas City 5.5. Texas 6. California Angels 7.5. And the Mariners are 13.5 games back. Oh, you're welcome, Ken. And Dutch, not a problem. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. You take care too, Dutch. Jim Rice is now leading the American League with a 358 batting average. Reggie with his 18 homers, and Rice with 46 RBIs leading the American League after May. And the Gator, Ron Guidry with a .6 ERA. And you got Ed Figueroa and Wilbur Wood with 8 wins on the year. The Goose with his 12 saves through May. Rice leading in the MVP voting. And Ed Figueroa is now leading in the Cy Young over his teammate Ron Guidry. Let's see what the pitching matchup will look like here in game number 2 of this series. Jim Palmer against Beatty is what it says. I thought it was Scotty McGregor against Beatty. We'll have to check and make sure. But I thought, like I say, it says it's Palmer against Beatty. Should be a hell of a pitching matchup. I want to thank Dutch and Ken Castro for joining us here today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for reminders so you know what's coming up next. And hit that like button and leave a comment. Until next time, you all have a great day and take care.